he's been training for a long time. I don't know exactly how many years, but trained a long time. Came from a Gracie Ball school up north, not North Arizona, North Seattle. Yeah. You know, when someone comes to you and they start training on you, you never really know where they're going to end up in a few years. And had I would have had no idea that this guy would be teaching my Sunday classes, having a whole crew following him on Sundays. He would be traveling to all the other schools around the valley training. You just don't know that kind of stuff. And I'm very proud of him. He's gone through some ups and downs, as we all do. And he's a better person on the other side of those because of it. I'm super duper proud of him. I know this means a lot to him. Dom, come on up.
Yeah. So this is the first one of these I've ever gotten. They didn't do it like this back then. I didn't get to like stand here and give a speech. It was like the end of class on a day you wouldn't even know it, on a Wednesday afternoon. Professor Micah just pulls a blue belt out of his gi and gives it to me. So I have gotten that kind of old-fashioned jiu-jitsu experience. This is pretty cool too. Coming back, it's like hard because, believe it or not, I used to be really good at this sport. So like it's really great. And a lot of people don't know, like, I looked up to Professor Flavio's brother when I was first doing jiu-jitsu because he was one of the baddest Brazilians on the planet, one of the baddest jiu-jitsu fighters like in MMA. So when I learned that I was gonna get to meet his brother Flavio Almeida, him being here in Arizona, that was really big for me, so thank you for being here. And at all the seminars I've come to that you've done, or potlucks, whatever it was, you know, it's great to see you. You know, I thank all my training partners, everybody that comes on Sunday. You know, it kind of dwindled there for a while. I was getting a little discouraged, but Professor Michael was not going to let me fail. And it's because of all of you that are showing up again that we have a good class. Jared comes all the time, so you got Noah coming too, kids. So thank you guys for coming. That's awesome. And like Professor Michael was saying, my Gracie Ball family extends a lot more, bigger than just here. I try to train at other schools at least once a week to see people, so I really lit up when I saw Professor Jojo here. I'm hoping he jumps up here for the picture at some point with me, because I do go see him on Thursday afternoons. So I'm just really stoked you're here too, man. That's really awesome, Professor. It's really good. There's nothing like walking in those other gyms, because this is the only gym where they call me Dom. Like, that name doesn't exist at Gracie Ball. Outside of here, I walk, hey, Bouchecha! Like, nothing better than that feeling. So I love it. I don't want to get too long-winded, so just thank you, everybody, for getting me here, and I really appreciate it.
Very special. He's turned out to be like one of my best friends. He got his whole family here. You know, he's doing a lot. He's helped raise his nieces and nephews. Big part of their life. He's got them involved in jiu-jitsu. And it's not easy, you know, dealing with helping raising some kids to work, and now he's doing missions and traveling the world, and there's just a lot going on. And I'm very proud of him. He's a very good stand-up man. He's fun to train with in jiu-jitsu. We probably send each other 10 memes a day, back and forth, funny videos. I don't do that with really anybody else, but with him, it's a lot of fun. But I'm very, very, very proud of him. Adrian, come on up.
Yeah, Adrian.
All right. So up until yesterday, I didn't know what I was going to say. I was just laying in bed and just like, all right, let me put this together. First, I want to thank my family. I've taken a few breaks due to like either injury or just getting myself back into a good life, pretty much. And so nieces and nephews are still coming. One of them got promoted today as well, and she said, hey, I want to thank him for constantly pushing me. But every single time they came home, they would like constantly like, hey, when are you going back? So same thing. Second, training partners, coaches. Without you guys, none of us would be here. And I can't wait till we all tell our stories when we're all black belts, saying like, hey, remember when Professor Mike or Professor Josh or anybody in general just like did this or did that when we reached our black belts. So when we all get together, when we're all black belts, let's share those stories and where it started here. And lastly, Professor Mike, thank you. Not only changed my life, my family's life.
Awesome. One of those ones like, are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure for this belt. Came to us from Chandler. He's been with us over a year now. And he's always just fit right in. Super nice guy. You can talk to him about anything. Super knowledgeable on so many different things. But he's fun to train with. He doesn't try to smash on you too bad. He gives you just enough so you can work and have some fun. And I really like that. He's got a lot of knowledge to share. And yeah, he deserves this. Chris, come on up, man.
Yeah, Chris! I didn't hear much either, but didn't know for
Always speeches. I make the kids do them.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. First off, I want to thank my fiance for pushing me to be here. She's the one 8 years ago for Christmas gift got me this key. Not this key, but that key's been torn apart by my dog at this point. The most important thing I think I've learned during this process is just keep coming. Don't quit. It doesn't have to be a successful night every time you come here. It can just be you showing up, and that's enough. Putting the effort to get here is the most important thing, and consistently doing that over years is the hardest part. So just keep doing that. The result of that is a rising tide in your entire life. Your entire life will improve just being here. And it seems strange, but man, it bleeds over into every aspect of your life. If you can succeed here, you can succeed anywhere. So thank you for the professors and everyone who's pushed me to be consistent and push me to be better. And all of you for being a part of that rising tide of my training partners, and I hope to continue to pour into everyone as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Professor Brian came here before we even opened. Somebody from another school called and says, hey, I got a buddy in town. He's having a hard time finding a gym to train at. He wants to come talk to you before he joins. Before the school was even open, we sat up there and chit-chatted for a while. And going back to, you just never know where these friendships and these partnerships are going to lead to when you first meet somebody. But man, what a blessing it's been to have Professor Brian here at the school. I mean, to know that day that when you walked in that you would still be standing here and we'd be going to school together is just unbelievable. He's been here through it all, you know, the COVID, the ups and the downs, every struggle that we've had here, all the good things we've had here. He's been here. He's been helping Professor Josh train with the GB2 guys, the GB2 team, so he's got a wealth of knowledge. He helps me out. I always come in, hey, do you see this move? You want to try this move? Let's do this, let's do that. It's a lot of fun to see. I'm very honored to promote you to your first degree black belt.
I've been doing this a long time, and I remember every belt and every stripe I've ever earned. And it's true, as you get older, time seems to go faster. These last 3 years just flew by. Getting to that black belt, that seemed to take forever, but I persevered and I made it. And it means a lot. It means a lot to get my first degree here. And before I get into thanks, I stood on that stage in Sedona getting my belt. And I was kind of like Steve Carell and Anchorman. I like Lamb. Just looking around like, thank you. And I forgot the most important person. It's my wife, who's actually stuck outside right now. I thank my wife. Most importantly, she's the one that puts up with me coming here all the time. And I'd like to thank my professors who push me, they roll with me, my other training partners, and most importantly, I'd like to thank the students. So I love to help teach, because teaching you helps me express the tiny details that are so important with jiu-jitsu. jiu-jitsu. And teaching you helps me learn even more. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, I'll take over now, right, Professor Mike?
Thank you.
You can't promote yourself, right? Okay. Guys, it's a beautiful thing. You know, Bell Promotions, 30 years later, I can only imagine how many I've been a part of. And what's special about it is that every promotion is unique. Jiu-Jitsu affects our lives in a different way because only we are we, right? And those stories, they keep coming back to this powerful idea that if we allow ourselves to show up consistently and we create space for Jiu-Jitsu in our lives and the people that Jiu-Jitsu brings to our lives to make a difference, we get better. I've never seen a black belt speech or any speech, so to speak, that people came in and were talking about the last medal that they won or the last flying berimbolo that they learned. It's never, at the end of the day, it's never about those things. Those things are important, they're tools in the experiences that make up this journey. Without great jiu-jitsu, everything goes out of the window. But at the end of our, there's no end to this journey, but what comes out of it, the most important things are the life-changing benefits of jiu-jitsu, and that's why these promotions are so important, because you get people to say how jiu-jitsu have impacted them. You know, when I look at, you know, Mike and what I've been able to observe and the times that we had together, it's been an incredible thing to see how much jiu-jitsu has impacted him, as a student first, as a training partner, then as a coach, and then as a professor, and as a head instructor and school owner. And that's one of the beautiful things about jiu-jitsu. And some of you guys who know this, some of you guys are too young to understand this idea, but as you go through life, you get to very high mountains, or whatever the high mountain is for you, but you achieve a certain level of success. And what happens with most environments or most mountains that you climb, that doesn't happen with jiu-jitsu, is that once you get there, you tend to settle, and people will continue to respect you just because you climbed that mountain. It happens if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, you know, you have a lot of money in a bank account, you drive nice cars, and beautiful family, and you earned it, you know, fair enough. But you lose the incentive to stay sharp. In most mountains you climb in your life, you lose the incentive to stay sharp. Even with moms, your kids will grow up, right? And here's one of the magical things that happen in jiu-jitsu, and I really think that it's one of the reasons why jiu-jitsu is so incredible. It's because there is always people around us that will keep holding us accountable to staying sharp. Look, I can't do takedowns the way I used to do it in my 20s. My takedowns are terrible now compared to how it was back then. So I've gotten worse. But there's plenty of people around me that will challenge me to keep improving myself on and off the mats, including my own students. Professor Jojo, for example, he challenges me every time I go train with him by asking questions, by showing me ideas that I don't know, right? And here's Professor Mike, already had a successful life outside of jiu-jitsu. He opened his school, COVID came, right? He built this amazing school, and to be able to keep the school moving forward, he needs to put himself in a position of high accountability. All of you guys hold him accountable to being his best self, on and off the mats, to stay in shape. And believe me, as you get older, it's harder and harder to do that as you carry injuries, and as you have more distractions in your life and metabolism goes down, right? To keep improving his jiu-jitsu, to keep improving his leadership skills. That's one of the beautiful things that have happened, and I think is one of the greatest things, blessings that jiu-jitsu brings to our lives, is to put us in an environment that keeps us sharp for as long as we're willing to keep playing. So Mike, very proud of you, man. Thank you for everything you've done for Gracie Barra. So with that said, let's move you up to your second degree on your black belt, my brother.
When I got my black belt, I had all my notes on my phone. Like Professor Flavio probably doesn't remember, he's been to so many promotions, but I fumbled that speech really bad. I'm gonna need my glasses too. Sedona and I got promoted to my first degree, I literally got up on stage and said, I don't want to get emotional, I will mess it up, so just thank you. It was literally that. It was about as basic as you could get. And so I'll go back to my phone notes, and hopefully I don't fumble it up again. I have notes, I know what I want to say, but I don't want to leave anybody out, because there's so many important things to say, and so many important people to thank, that it's just better if I read off here. But first, and most importantly, I want to give thanks, glory, and praise to my Savior, Jesus Christ. He has been a big part of my life. Just recently, I'm gonna get emotional for sure. I'll touch base on that a little bit. I want to thank my wife and my daughter. They've always been very, very supportive, but as of recent, they've been able to join me here at the school. Anna's kind of helping out behind the desk and on the mat, and Emery's helping out with the little kids' classes and learning jiu-jitsu on her own, so it really means a lot that they're here. I want to thank Professor Josh, Coach G, and Liliana for all the hard work that you put into keeping this school going, okay? We do miss you, Liliana, very much. But yeah, without you three, this school would not be where it is today. I want to thank Professor Josh and Professor Brian, also in the fact that they're the ones that are constantly helping me out the most here at the school, teaching the classes, keeping me on my game. I go over the moves with them more than anybody. Professor Brian's always working new stuff with me, teaching me new things, and we're building a foundation together, building more of our game up together. It's a lot of fun to do. I want to thank all my students, from the tiny champions to adults. Every single one of you holds a very special part in my heart, place in my heart. You make me want to be a better coach and a better person every single day. Like Father says, we got to keep our game strong. We got to keep it on point. It's one thing to just be here and focus on yourself and just jiu-jitsu for yourself, but when you have to focus on providing that information to somebody else, it's hard. It's harder. It takes time away from you, and you got to detail the moves. There's just a lot into it, and I wouldn't trade what I do and all of you for anything in the world. It means a lot. Professor Fabio, thank you for being here. I moved here from California. It's been 8 years now. And I remember meeting you at Scottsdale that one day when I first joined up over there. I met your younger brother, Andre, and it's just been an honor to train underneath you. You've been a huge mentor for me, not just with jiu-jitsu. I mean, this guy's a legend in jiu-jitsu, but he's a legend in business too, and running things, and I've learned a lot from him. So I look up to him more than probably anybody as far as mentorship as business goes and jiu-jitsu. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be here, because I know your schedule is, I don't know how he does it. I mean, him and the president are probably the busiest people in the world. Last but most importantly, I want to thank my new, I want to thank the group of brothers and sisters that I have here that are going through this walk with the Lord with me, okay? We've got a tight-knit people, kind of under the leadership of Coach Rico, that have helped bond, and I've needed that bond over the last 3 years. Well, it's only been about 1.5 years for me since I was baptized, but I really needed it. I didn't realize how stagnant my life was getting, or how I wasn't growing as a person until I found the Lord. And having those brothers and sisters to communicate with and learn with over the last 1.5 years has just been amazing. I want to thank each one of you that is on that journey with me, is getting closer to the Lord. Thank you, Coach Rico and everybody. And these last 3 years, like I said, have been a tremendous amount of growth for me. Not just with jiu-jitsu. I do feel like my jiu-jitsu game has improved a lot. I've been working on some new stuff. My guard game's a little bit different than it used to be ever. So with that, but most of my growth has come personally and spiritually. Okay, and I think that's important, that as I get older, or as we get older, we find those things that keep growing. Okay, we're not going to be the most athletic always. Okay, we're going to have to find other areas of our life that we're going to have to grow. And I've just, over the last 2 years, put a huge effort in becoming a better person, a friend, coworker, coach, better father, better husband. Yeah, and that's been my biggest growth, and I really encourage you guys to constantly be working on those areas of your life. It takes a lot to know your shortcomings and to challenge yourself to make those improvements in your life, to be that better person. That's it. I want to thank everyone for sharing this moment with me, sharing this journey with me. It means a lot. And yeah, I look forward to another 3 years. Thank you.